Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Potential Elite. We're back with another video. Classroom of the Elite Volume 6. It's an okay book. Wasn't my favorite, but wasn't my least favorite at all. Very interesting. It was more of a setup for the next book. So, let's talk about it. In this book, the soliloquy is from Kushida. She wants people to trust her and she doesn't like to lose. She also has a sense of superiority. And when they met on the bus, she realized it was Harikta, somebody that knew about her past. And this is why she wants her to be expelled. The sports festival has now ended. We are in around October where Harikta Manabu and other members of the student council that are third years, they step down because they're about to graduate. Nagamo rises to power, and this was Harikta Manabu, kind of his biggest fear. Ike, Suda, and Yamachi, they kept their difference from Enya Koji because they're jealous of him holding back. They know that he's holding his physical ability back because of the grip test and the speed that he displayed during the race. And so they're like, well, what else could he holding back? Is he holding back his intelligence as well? So they feel inferior to him, and they thought they were all rejects and that they all were losers, but now they know that that's not the case. In the last video, I talked about other people noticing Enya Koji in the race. There's a woman, her name is Sato. She comes to Enya Koji, show interest to him, and she has a crush on him, and she wants their relationship to turn into boyfriend and girlfriend. When they display and they give each other contact information, they exchange it, because she's like, hey, if you don't want to be boyfriend and girlfriend right away, we can start out as friends. Enya Koji asks why she showed interest in him, because of the race and because he seems calm, mature, and quiet. And she says that she could argue he's better looking and better overall than Hirata. We know Hirata is ranked second among all the men in the school, or at least in their grade, and Enya Koji is ranked fifth. Later that night, Karuzawa, she calls Enya Koji, wanting to know about his decision with Sato. Appearing almost jealous, Enya Koji, he says he doesn't know what he's going to do. All they did was exchange contact information. He says she's not ugly, she's very pretty, but he just doesn't know her yet, so he doesn't know how their relationship could be. And Karuzawa, she gets mad. She's like, oh no, you should tell her how you feel, but you shouldn't at the same time. Like I said, I personally think Karuzawa is jealous, but hey. We find out that the final exam is going to be taken in partners, and how it works is basically if the two people fail to meet the requirement or the threshold, then they both get expelled. And so in order to figure out who's going to be partners, they will take a test. It won't count for their grade, but that's how they're going to be paired up. A group consisting of Hirata, Sudo, Enya Koji, Kushida, Karuzawa, and Harikta, they meet up at a cafe where they explain and are trying to think how the partner system is going to work. Basically, how the test is going to work. Whenever they take the test that doesn't count, to see how they're going to partner up. Whoever gets the highest is going to be paired up with the lowest, the second highest with the second lowest, and so forth. So they decide as a class that the people who are really smart, so Kushida, Hirata, and like Koenji, Harikta, all of them, they're going to rank and try to get the highest score they can. And people like Yamachi, Ike, Sudo, they're going to try and get 0 on the test. They're not going to get any right answers so that they can get compatible partners so that all of them can pass and none of them get expelled. And at the same time, Ruin, he is talking with Class C, trying to figure out who the traitor is, because he's like, there's no way in heck somebody can get this record without it coming from Class C. And we find out that traitor is Manabe. Ruin, he interrogates her, and he gets some useful information. And the important partners, they go as follow. It goes Sudo and Harikta, Hirata and Yamachi, Ike and Kushida, and Enya Koji is worked with none other than Sato. He's like, man, God must love me or God must hate me. He's like, this is a coincidence. And so she looks at him, she smiles and waves. She really has a crush on this dude. I'm surprised. Study groups were formed so that people can get the highest grade possible. Harikta, she did it during the day or right after school. And Hirata, he did it at night so that he could do it because he had sports and club activities. Miyaka and Hisabi, they are two new people that we have not talked about. They are partners, however, on their test, they got similar stuff wrong. So Yukimura took them aside because they don't want all the people around. He's going to tutor them separately. And Harikta asked Enya Koji to be a part of that group so he can watch over them and supervise them. Hisabe, she talks with Enya Koji saying that he was invisible to her and that all the hype and the rave over the track and the relay race, that she wasn't there, so she doesn't know what all the hype about. And we learned that Enya Koji, actually, he got a bunch of offers from the track team to join them. However, you know, he wants to be inconspicuous and not be on the front line, so he obviously declined all of the invitations. We find out that Miyachi, he is in the archery club, and that Enya Koji, his birthday is October 20th. He had never had a birthday party, never had somebody wish him a happy birthday, so he didn't know what to do. And later in the book, I couldn't find specifically where it was, but it didn't happen immediately. It happened, of course, on his birthday, but Karuizawa is the only one to wish him happy birthday. She texted to him, obviously. She likes Enya Koji, and like I said, I think she was a little bit jealous, but, you know, she's starting to grow towards liking him. And he was like, well, how the heck did she get my information? And she knows my birthday. But when they exchange contact information, it tells people their birthday, their age, all of that, etc. Sakura's kind of a creep. I ain't gonna hold you. I know she's lonely, but the only reason why she wanted to be a part of Enya Koji's group is because Enya Koji is in it and she likes him. So she was hiding in the restaurant or the cafe where they were at. And when people were going to break in, Coach was like, I'll be back. He sat next to her. He's like, Sakura, why are you here? She's sitting up here, had study materials and everything. She's a little bit weird, but she didn't end up joining their group because she was too scared to do so. I say this every book. I don't understand why this is such the hot topic, but Hisabe, she asked if Enya Koji's going out with Harikta. He says no immediately. She thinks it's staged. But they drop the topic, and Enya Koji, after the study group, he goes home to his dorm where he informs Harikta how well it went, and she wants him to start joining her study group. And he's like, whoa, calm down, we didn't agree to this. And she says, well, with Sudo, Yamachi, and others, well, Sudo, actually, he's not a part of her group because he has practice, he's going with Hirata, but he's saying that people aren't studying like they should, and she can't watch over everybody, so she needs him to be there. Going to the study group, we find out that it's going to be a joint study group where Ichinose assisting Harikta, and Sato, she sits with Enya Koji, one, because she likes him, and two, because they're partners, and she wants to learn more about him. They're talking about his interests, and she's leaning into him, looking him in the eyes. It appears that they're a couple. It appears that they're talking where other people in the library, Ike, Yamachi, Kushida, and Harikta, they're looking at him and looking at them, and they seem a little bit jealous. From here on, we get a lot of stuff about Ichinose, or we're getting to where we're hyping, exposing her, or seeing what she's hiding, because we know Ichinose is a very happy-go-lucky person. She tries her best to help others. Kushida, and we see that she does the same thing, but she has a dark side to her. So Rikta says, okay, I don't believe in good people. Everybody that's perfect, they don't exist, so she's hiding something. As they leave the study group, Kushida wants to talk to Harikta. She waves to Enya Koji that he can leave, so Enya Koji, he's leaving. However, Harikta calls on the phone, and they're making a bet. Basically, whoever scores higher on the test, if Harikta scores higher, then Kushida will stop trying to get her expelled and will work with her to get into Class A. But if Kushida wins, then she will get Harikta expelled. And Manabu, he is here to witness this. He is so that, you know, how Harikta respects her brother. So the bet will be fair and square. However, Kushida's smarter than we think. She was all like, hey, I've been trying to call your phone the past couple minutes, Harikta. You haven't answered. Let me guess, you're on the phone with somebody. It's Enya Koji. You should tell him to come over here. He's like, shoot. And so he goes over there and he joins in the bet. He's like, I bet you Harikta's going to win. And in order to do so, he's like, you know, because it's not fair that I get to be expelled because I didn't do anything. So you're going to explain what happened in the past. Basically, the reason why Kushida tore her class apart was that she ended up, everybody telling her their secrets, but it was too much for her to handle. So she ended up posting it on a blog, and everybody found out about the blog, so they were mad at Kushida. And so Kushida ended up telling secrets to everybody. And so everybody started hating everybody in the class, self-destructed. Now we're at another day with a study group led by Enya Koji and Yukimura. Ruin, he comes in, he's trying to test stuff out and see what's going on. He goes to Enya Koji group. He speculates Enya Koji is one of the people who are pulling strings. He also asks this girl from his class, her name is Hiyori. She will play a role in future books because she is smart and she's good at reading people. However, she doesn't speculate anything for anybody at the table. And the reason why it displays how smart she is, because Sabe, she had an empty drink, and just by looking at it and smelling it and stuff, she was able to get the proper amount of coffee and put the proper amount of cream and sugar in there without even having to taste it. So Hiyori, she's pretty impressive. That was the last study group that they had together, and when they were walking back to their dorms together, they're like, hey, we're a bunch of outcasts. We're not popular, but we're not unpopular. let's stay in this group together. Let's be friends. And so in this group, they call each other by their first names. Sakura finally comes out the woodwork saying, I want to join the group too. So they allow her in, and they decide that they're going to go see a movie tomorrow. I'm telling you, Karuizawa, she is built different. So Anya Koji told her that they were going to see a movie tomorrow because she asked what he was going to do. So she ended up planning with a bunch of her friends, fake friends, to go see the movie. Sato is there. Sato, she goes up to Anya Koji and links his arms, appearing to be together again. And so Sakura, she gets jealous. Anya Koji's like, shoot, well, what's going on? He tried to pull her apart and she's not leaving. He's like, well, dang. But he ended up getting away with her. She was blushing and all that. Sato, she's so nice, but like, I think she's doing a little bit much. I think she's coming a little headstrong. After the movie, they go to karaoke together, Karuizawa, Kushida, and a lot of others, and this is where Karuizawa, she accidentally spills juice on Kushida's jacket, and she tells her to take it off, use another one, and she'll get a dry clean, she'll pay for it. And we go back to the dorms. This is where a scandal's going on that Ichinose is illegally getting her points, and this is by Ruin. He signed his name at the bottom. So a lot of people are like, oh, Ruin, you're dirty, but what if it's actually true? And this blows up a little bit. And so this special exam is called the paper shuffle. The people, it's going to be Class D versus Class C and Class A versus Class B. The students of each class, they submit the test to each other, however the school looks at it. Anya Koji and Harita, they go to submit the test. However, Ruin's there as well, and Kushida had already submitted the test. We know Kushida's a traitor, and so Ruin, he laughs because they're easily going to get 100 because Kushida probably made the test super easy. However, as Ruin left, Harita smiled, said, alright, I'm not going to lose twice. Basically, what happened before when the paper shuffle exam was announced, Harita went over to Chapashira Sensei saying, the only test you're going to use is the one that I submit. So she ends up submitting her test, and they outsmarted Kushida and Ruin. The next day, it is time to take the test. Anya Koji and Sato are walking to the class. Karuizawa, she takes Sato away, and they go get coffee. And like I said, we're starting to see a little bit more jealous because Harata, he's saying that Karuizawa, he knows that she is paying more attention to Anya Koji, and he smiles. This is where Harata, he makes the claim that Anya Koji is really the one pulling stuff behind the scenes, and that he really is Class D's leader. He's the smartest one out of all of them. Anya Koji doesn't deny it, because he's like, well, shoot, you're not going to believe me if I don't. You're too smart for that. And Harata, he knows, but he said he's going to keep it under wraps. Taking the test, when it comes to the portion, I believe the bet was based off of Kushida's strong point, which is math. We go to the math test. Kushida, she screams out loud, appearing something wrong. However, she's like, oh, never mind, something happened. We're just going to go back to taking the test. In the end, Class D completely obliterated Class C. So Kushida has to stop trying to get Harita and Anya Koji expelled, and she'll work with her. And so Kushida, she goes and meets up with Ruin, like, alright, what the fluff is going on? She's confused. Ruin, he just tells her, you simply got outplayed. He goes and reaches in her blazer, pulls out a sheet of paper. It was what appeared to be a cheat sheet. And so she's like, okay, well, how the fluff did this get in there? Basically, Anya Koji had it slipped in there so that if Kushida was caught, she was caught cheating and would have been expelled. That's why he had Karuizawa knock over the glass of grape juice or whatever juice it was so that he would know that she only has one blazer, and went into her dorm, snuck it in there. And Koji, he's that dude. And I don't know why, but this is just to kind of spice things up a little bit. Anya Koji was the one who was saying that Ichinose was illegally getting her points and not Ruin. He just did that to get Ruin more attention. Ruin, he then talks about that he wants to finally figure out who really is leading Class D behind the scenes, and so he says our target's going to be Karuizawa because Manami makes reference to how everything was brought up and how the person who blackmailed them is linked to Karuizawa. In the end, it was a solid book. However, this book leads into my second favorite book, which is book 7. It was basically the stepping stones and the pathway to what was needed to further the series. I like the Anya Koji group getting together. I like Karuizawa in this book. Anya Koji, he took a step back. Harita showcased her brains, and overall, I enjoyed it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. It's on the screen in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.